When 6-year-old Lily got lost at the airport, she didn't cry. Instead, she found a beautiful woman sitting alone and asked the question that would change 3 lives forever. "Are you lost too, pretty lady?" She had no idea she was talking to the coldest CEO in the city, or that this stranger held her daddy's entire future in her hands. This is the story of how one tiny heart became the biggest Cupid. The alarm clock hadn't even gone off yet when James felt tiny fingers poking his cheek. "Daddy, Daddy, wake up. The sun is awake, so we should be too." James opened one eye to find Lily's face inches from his, her big blue eyes sparkling with that infectious energy only 6-year-olds seemed to possess at 6 in the morning. "5 more minutes, princess," he mumbled, pulling the blanket over his head. But Lily was relentless. She climbed onto the bed and sat on his chest, her curly blonde pigtails bouncing. "You promised pancakes, Daddy. Pancakes with the smiley faces. You can't break a pinky promise." James couldn't help but smile. She was right. He had made that promise. And in their little world, pinky promises were sacred law. Oh. All right. He sat up and scooped her into his arms, making her giggle as he carried her to their modest kitchen. Smiley face pancakes coming right up. Their apartment was small, just 2 bedrooms in a building that had seen better days. The wallpaper was peeling in the corners, and the heating made strange noises at night. But James had hung fairy lights around Lily's bed and painted stars on her ceiling. And to her, it was a palace. As he mixed the batter, Lily sat at the counter, kicking her feet and watching him with complete adoration. "Daddy, are we really going on an airplane today?" "We really are, sweetheart. We're going to visit Grandma for her birthday. Will there be clouds? Can I touch them?" James chuckled, flipping a pancake with practiced ease. "The clouds will be outside the window, but you can wave at them." "I'll wave and say hi from Daddy too," Lily declared seriously. James felt his heart squeeze. After her mother left 3 years ago, it had just been the 2 of them. Some days were hard, impossibly hard. But moments like this, they made everything worth it. He set down a plate with a perfect smiley face pancake, complete with blueberry eyes and a strawberry smile. "Daddy, it looks happy. Like you when you look at me." James knelt down and kissed her forehead. "That's because you make me happy, little one. You're my whole world." Lily threw her arms around his neck. "You're my whole world too, Daddy. Plus the moon and all the stars." After breakfast, Lily helped James pack, which mostly meant sitting on the suitcase while he tried to zip it closed. "Daddy, can I bring Mr. Buttons?" She held up a worn teddy bear with mismatched button eyes. "Mr. Buttons has to come. He's family." As James went to grab their toiletries, Lily opened her special box, a shoebox covered in glitter and stickers that she kept under her bed. Inside were her most precious things: a photo of her parents from before, a lucky penny, and a folded piece of paper. She unfolded it carefully. It was a drawing she'd made last week. 3 stick figures holding hands. A tall one with brown hair, a small one with yellow curls, and in the middle, a figure with long dark hair and a heart on her dress. "A mommy for our family," she whispered to Mr. Buttons. "I didn't ask Santa because Daddy said Santa brings toys, not people. But maybe if I wish really hard." She heard James's footsteps and quickly stuffed the drawing back in the box, sliding it under her bed. "Ready, princess. Ready, Daddy." In the taxi to the airport, Lily pressed her nose against the window, watching the city blur past. James watched her, a familiar ache in his chest. She deserved so much more than he could give her. A bigger home. A complete family. Someone to braid her hair the way mothers do. "Daddy, Lily's voice was small, thoughtful. Yes, sweetheart? Do you ever get lonely? The question caught him off guard. What do you mean? Like, she traced a pattern on the foggy window. When I'm at school and you're at work, do you have a friend? Someone to eat lunch with? James's throat tightened. I have colleagues, people I work with. But are they your friends? Do they make you smile? He didn't know how to answer. The truth was, he hadn't let anyone close in years. It was easier that way. Safer? I have you, he said finally. You make me smile every day. Lily nodded slowly. But there was something in her eyes, a determination that James didn't quite recognize. Maybe, she said softly, we both need to find someone who's lost. Lost people understand each other. Where did you hear that, sweetheart? Lily just smiled her mysterious 6-year-old smile. Mr. Buttons told me. Across the city, in a penthouse that cost more than most people earned in a decade, Victoria Sterling was already on her 3rd cup of black coffee. She stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows, watching the sunrise paint the skyline gold. Most people would find the view beautiful. Victoria barely saw it anymore. Miss Sterling, your car is ready. Her assistant's voice came through the intercom. Cancel it. I'll take the helicopter to the airport. She caught her reflection in the glass. Immaculate as always. Designer dress, perfect hair, makeup that could withstand a hurricane. The armor she wore every day. People called her the Ice Queen. They said she hadn't smiled in 5 years. They weren't wrong. 5 years ago, Victoria had it all. A loving husband, a baby on the way, a future full of promise. Then, the accident happened. One drunk driver. 2 lives gone in an instant. She had poured her grief into work, building Sterling Industries into an empire. Every merger, every acquisition, every crushing victory in the boardroom was a brick in the wall she'd built around her heart. Miss Sterling? Her assistant appeared at the door. The board meeting has been moved to next week, and... She hesitated. Spit it out, Margaret. The restructuring proposal for the New York office. The one that includes the marketing department layoffs. It needs your signature before you leave for the conference. Victoria took the tablet without emotion. The proposal would eliminate 30 jobs. 30 families affected. She used to care about such things. Her pen hovered over the signature line. Names blurred together, meaningless. Then one caught her eye. James Bennett, ditto. Marketing manager. What a single father. Exemplary performance. Reviews. Single father. Something flickered in her chest. A ghost of feeling she quickly suppressed. I'll review this on the plane, she said, setting the tablet aside. In the helicopter to the airport, Victoria looked out at the city growing smaller below her. Somewhere down there, people were living real lives, having breakfast with their families, laughing at inside jokes, feeling things. She couldn't remember the last time she'd felt anything at all. The helicopter landed at the private terminal, and Victoria walked toward the VIP lounge, her heels clicking against the marble floor like a metronome, counting down the hours of another meaningless day. She had no idea that in less than an hour, a 6-year-old girl with pigtails would ask her a question that would change everything. The airport was chaos, a sea of rolling suitcases, crying babies, and people rushing to catch flights they were already late for. James held Lily's hand tight as they navigated through the terminal. Stay close, princess. Don't let go of Daddy's hand. I won't, Daddy. I'm holding super tight. See? She squeezed his fingers. They made it through security without incident, though Lily insisted on waving goodbye to her shoes as they went through the X-ray machine. Now they were searching for their gate in the maze of terminals. Daddy, I need to go potty. James looked around frantically. The restrooms were right there, but there was no family bathroom in sight. Okay, sweetheart. The ladies' room is right there. I'll wait right outside this door. Don't talk to anyone, and come straight back out. Can you do that? I'm a big girl, Daddy. I can do it. She marched toward the restroom with all the confidence of a tiny general. James smiled, checking his watch. They still had an hour before boarding. Inside the restroom, Lily finished quickly and went to wash her hands. The soap dispenser was too high. She stretched and stretched, standing on her tiptoes but couldn't reach. Here, let me help. A kind woman pumped soap into Lily's hands. Thank you. My daddy says always say thank you. Your daddy sounds smart. Lily washed her hands carefully, counting to 20 like James taught her. When she came out of the restroom, she looked for Daddy, but the doorway she came out of wasn't the same one. The restroom had 2 exits, and Lily had taken the wrong one. She stood in a completely different part of the terminal, surrounded by strangers. For a moment, panic bubbled up in her chest. But then she remembered what Daddy always said. If you ever get lost, stay calm. Find a safe place to sit and wait. Daddy will always find you. Lily looked around. There was a quiet area with big fancy chairs and not many people. It looked safe. She walked toward it, Mr. Buttons clutched to her chest. That's when she saw her. A beautiful woman sat alone in the fancy lounge, staring out the window at the airplanes. She was the prettiest lady Lily had ever seen, like a princess from a storybook. But her eyes looked so sad. Lily tilted her head, studying her. The woman looked lost too. Not lost like can't find your daddy lost. Lost like can't find your smile lost. Lily took a deep breath and walked right up to her. Excuse me, pretty lady. Victoria looked down, startled to find a small child standing before her. Are you lost too? Lily asked, her blue eyes wide and sincere. Because I'm a little bit lost, and you look a little bit lost, and maybe we could be lost together? Victoria blinked at the child before her. In all her years of business meetings, hostile takeovers, and boardroom battles, no one had ever thrown her off balance quite like this. I'm not. She started to say she wasn't lost, but the words caught in her throat. Because looking into those innocent blue eyes, she suddenly wasn't sure that was true. Are you lost from your parents? Victoria asked instead. Just my daddy. My mommy is gone. Lily said it matter-of-factly, the way children do when they've accepted something they don't fully understand. She left when I was 3. Daddy says she had to find herself. But I think she got really lost because she never came back. Something cracked in Victoria's carefully constructed armor. I'm sorry, she said softly. It's okay. Lily climbed up onto the chair next to Victoria, her little legs dangling. Daddy and me, we're a team. He says we don't need anyone else, but sometimes... She hugged Mr. Buttons tighter. Sometimes I think he says that so I won't be sad. But I see him look at other families and his eyes get all wet. Victoria didn't know what to say. This child was speaking truths that most adults were too afraid to voice. What's your bear's name? She asked, changing the subject. Mr. Buttons. See his eyes? Daddy sewed them on himself when the old ones fell off. One's brown and one's blue. Daddy says it makes him special because he can see 2 different ways. That's actually quite profound. What's profound mean? It means deep. Important. Lily nodded seriously. Daddy says lots of profound things. Like kindness costs nothing but means everything, and even broken things can be beautiful. And the best things in life aren't things at all. Victoria felt her throat tighten. She couldn't remember the last time anyone had shared something this pure with her. Your daddy sounds like a wise man. He's the best daddy in the whole world. Lily paused, studying Victoria's face. You still look sad, pretty lady. Do you want to hold Mr. Buttons? He makes everything better. Daddy says so. Before Victoria could respond, Lily placed the worn teddy bear in her hands. When I'm sad, I hug him and count to 10 and think about happy things. What makes you happy? Victoria stared at the bear in her hands. When had anyone last asked her what made her happy? When had she last known the answer? I don't remember, she admitted. Lily's eyes went wide with concern. That's the saddest thing I ever heard. She reached over and patted Victoria's hand. Don't worry, pretty lady. I'll help you remember. James was in full panic mode. He'd waited outside that restroom door for 2 minutes, then 3, then 5. When he finally asked a woman to check inside, she came back with the news that made his blood run cold. There's no little girl in there. The restroom had 2 exits. How had he not noticed? Lily! He pushed through crowds, his heart hammering. Lily! People stared. Security guards approached. Within minutes, the terminal was on alert for a missing child. But James couldn't wait. He ran through the airport like a man possessed, checking every corner, every shop, every face. Please, please, please. Meanwhile, in the VIP lounge, Lily was teaching Victoria the happy game. Okay, I'll say something, and you have to say if it makes you happy or sad. Ready? Puppies. Happy. I suppose. Ice cream. Happy. Victoria found herself almost smiling. Mondays. Definitely sad. Lily giggled, and the sound was like bells. Victoria couldn't remember the last time she'd heard a child laugh. You're getting better, Lily declared. Okay, now a hard one. Hugs? Victoria hesitated. Hugs meant closeness, vulnerability, wonder, risk. I don't really do hugs. Lily's face fell. Not even from people you love? I don't have anyone to... Victoria stopped herself. That's okay. Lily slid off her chair and walked around to stand in front of Victoria. I'll give you a practice hug. No one should forget what hugs feel like. And before Victoria could protest, 2 small arms wrapped around her neck. It was such a simple thing. A child's hug. But, to Victoria, it felt like the first warmth after a 5-year winter. Her arms came up automatically, holding this tiny stranger who was somehow seeing past every wall she'd built. Tears slipped down her cheeks. She couldn't stop them. See? Lily pulled back, beaming. Hugs are the best. Daddy gives the best hugs in the world. You should try one of his someday. At that moment, a security guard appeared at the lounge entrance. Excuse me, we're looking for a missing child. Little girl, blonde hair, pink jacket. He stopped when he saw them. Seconds later, James burst through the door behind him. Lily. Lily spun around, her face lighting up. Daddy! She ran to him, and James scooped her up, holding her so tight she squeaked. Don't ever do that again, he breathed into her hair. I thought I lost you. I wasn't lost, Daddy. I found a friend. James looked up, ready to thank whoever had kept his daughter safe, and froze, because sitting there, tears on her cheeks, was the woman from the company newsletter. The woman whose signature was on his paycheck. The woman the entire office called the Ice Queen. Victoria Sterling. ... James's mind raced. Victoria Sterling. His COA. The woman deciding whether to cut his department. Why was she crying? Why was his daughter's teddy bear in her lap? Miss Sterling, he managed. I'm so sorry. Lily wandered off and... Daddy, Don't be sorry," Lily interrupted. "We were playing the happy game and I taught her about hugs and she was so sad, but now she's a little bit less sad and her name is Victoria. And she's my new friend." James felt his face flush. "I apologize if she bothered you. She's very friendly." Victoria rose, smoothing her coat. Her business mask was sliding back into place, but there was something different in her eyes now. A crack in the ice. "She didn't bother me." Victoria looked at Lily, then at James, really seeing him for the first time. He wasn't just a name on a spreadsheet anymore. He was the man who taught his daughter about kindness costing nothing and broken things being beautiful. He was the single father with wet eyes when he looked at other families. "She kept me company, and she reminded me of some things I'd forgotten." Lily tugged on James's jacket. "Daddy, Victoria forgot what makes her happy. We have to help her remember. Can we invite her to sit with us on the airplane? Please?" "Lily, Ms. Sterling probably has her own seat, actually." Victoria heard herself speak before she could think better of it. "I was supposed to be in first class, but I wouldn't mind some company. If you don't mind, that is." James stared at her, certain he'd misheard. That Victoria Sterling wanted to sit with them? That would be... yes. Yes, of course. Yay! Lily clapped her hands. "Victoria, you can have the window seat. You can wave at the clouds with me." Victoria smiled. It was small, uncertain, a muscle she hadn't used in years. But it was real. "I'd like that." As they walked toward the gate, Lily positioned herself between them, reaching up to hold both their hands. "There," she said with satisfaction. "Now neither of you can get lost." James glanced at Victoria over his daughter's head. Their eyes met, and something passed between them. Recognition, perhaps, of two people who had been lonely for too long. Victoria quickly looked away, but the warmth in her chest remained. On the plane, Lily sat in the middle, chattering nonstop about clouds and puppies and her favorite foods. Victoria found herself laughing, actually laughing, at Lily's description of her teacher's angry eyebrows. James watched in disbelief. This wasn't the woman from the rumors. This was someone vulnerable, someone real, someone who was looking at his daughter like she was made of sunshine. "She's wonderful," Victoria said softly, when Lily finally fell asleep against James's shoulder. "She's everything," James replied. "You've done an incredible job raising her." James shifted uncomfortably. "I do my best. It's not always easy, alone, no." Victoria's voice was barely a whisper. "I imagine it's not." She pulled out her tablet and opened the restructuring proposal. James Bennett's name was still highlighted. She deleted him from the list. 3 weeks had passed since the airport, and James's world had shifted in ways he never expected. Victoria had started appearing in unexpected places. A coincidental visit to the marketing floor to discuss strategy. An invite to a small, focus group that happened to include Jane Dyke. A donation to Lily's school that James only discovered when the principal personally thanked him. And then, there were the texts. They'd exchanged numbers so Victoria could check on Lily, but their conversations had grown into something more. Late-night messages about everything and nothing. Jokes that made James laugh out loud in his empty apartment. Questions about his day that no one had asked him in years. James caught himself smiling at his phone, more than he cared to admit. "Daddy's doing it again," Lily told Mr. Buttons at breakfast. The smiley phone face. "Am not," James said, quickly putting his phone away. "R2? Is it Victoria? It's work stuff." Lily gave him her most skeptical 6-year-old look. "Victoria is your work stuff, but she's also your happy stuff now." "I can tell." James shook his head, marveling at how perceptive she was. That afternoon everything changed. James was in a meeting when his colleague Marcus leaned over. "Did you hear? Sterling's announcing layoffs tomorrow. The restructuring finally got approved." James's blood ran cold. "What?" "Yeah. Supposedly the Ice Queen had already picked all the names weeks ago, before she went to that conference in Seattle." Marcus shook his head. 30 people gone. Just like that. Before the conference. Before the airport. Before Lily. James felt sick. Had everything been a lie? Had she been playing him while his name sat on some list? Was this all some kind of game to her? He pulled out his phone and scrolled through their messages. All those moments of connection, had they meant anything? The answer came that evening when James decided to look up the restructuring proposal. It was supposed to be confidential, but he knew how to access the archive drafts. His name was there. James Bennett. Department. Marketing. Status. Terminated. But there was a note in the revision history. The name had been removed 3 weeks ago, the day they flew back from Seattle. She'd saved his job, but she'd never told him. Never mentioned that she'd had the power to destroy his career and had chosen not to. She'd let him believe their connection was... what? Real? Equal? James didn't know what to feel. Gratitude? Betrayal? Mandir? Both? His phone buzzed. "Victoria. Dinner tonight? There's something I need to tell you." James stared at the message for a long time. Then he typed back, "I already know." James didn't go to dinner. He didn't answer Victoria's calls. He buried himself in work and tried to pretend the past 3 weeks hadn't happened. But Lily noticed. "Daddy, your eyes are doing the wet thing again," she said one night, finding him on the couch staring at nothing. "I'm fine, princess." "You're not fine. You're sad." She climbed up next to him. "Is it because Victoria stopped visiting?" James sighed. How did he explain this to a 6-year-old? "Sometimes, sweetheart, things are complicated. Adults have complicated feelings. But you were happy. You did the smiley phone face. And Victoria was happy too. She smiled so much when she was with us. Real smiles, not pretend ones." "I know, but did she do something bad?" James thought about it. Had she? She'd saved his job. She'd kept his family from financial ruin. Was it wrong that she'd never told him? Or was he just too proud to accept help from someone who could have so easily destroyed him? She didn't trust me with something important. And it made me feel like maybe what we had wasn't real. Lily was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that stopped him cold. "Remember when Mommy left and you didn't tell me for 3 whole days? You said she was on a trip. But you were crying every night. I heard you." James's heart cracked. "You were trying to protect me," Lily continued. "Maybe Victoria was trying to protect you too. Grown-ups do that, right? Keep secrets to protect the people they care about. When did you get so wise?" James whispered. "Mr. Buttons helps." She hugged her bear. "Daddy, Victoria forgot what happy felt like. You taught her. And I think maybe you're starting to forget too. Don't forget, Daddy. Please." James pulled her close, tears streaming down his face. "She's still lost," Lily added quietly. "And she needs us to find her. That's what we do, Daddy. We help lost people. You told me that." Somewhere across the city, in her empty penthouse, Victoria stood at the window watching the city lights blur through her tears. She had tried to explain, to tell James about the layoff list, about deleting his name, about how watching him with Lily had made her feel things she'd thought were dead forever. But he wouldn't listen. And maybe that was her punishment. For spending 5 years as the Ice Queen. For thinking she could simply melt without consequences. She looked at her phone. No messages. No hope. She had finally learned what happiness felt like. And now, it was gone. Lily had a plan. She wasn't supposed to know where Victoria's office was, but she'd heard Daddy mention the 40th floor enough times. And she knew exactly how to get past the lobby guards. They all knew her from the times Daddy had brought her to work. "Hi, Mr. Kevin." She waved at the security guard. "Well, hey there, Lily. Is your dad upstairs?" "Yep. He forgot something important, and I have to bring it to him." The guard didn't think to question what a 6-year-old could possibly be delivering to the marketing department. He just smiled and waved her through. Lily didn't go to marketing. She went straight to the 40th floor. The elevator doors opened to a world of intimidating glass and cold marble. Assistants in expensive suits looked up in confusion as a tiny girl in a yellow sundress marched past them like she owned the place. "Excuse me, you can't..." Margaret started. But Lily was already at Victoria's office door. She pushed it open. "Whoa." Victoria looked up from her desk, shock replacing the emptiness in her eyes. "Lily, you made my daddy cry," Lily announced, walking right up to the massive desk. "And you made yourself cry too. I saw you through the window when you drove past our apartment. You do it every night." Victoria's face crumpled. "I didn't mean to, I know." Lily walked around the desk and climbed into Victoria's lap without asking permission. "Daddy told me about the list. About how you saved his job. He's not mad about that. He's mad because he thinks you only like him because of me. He thinks he's not good enough for someone like you. That's not. But I know the truth." Lily pulled out a folded piece of paper, her drawing from weeks ago. The one with 3 stick figures. "I drew this before he ever met you. I wished for a mommy. And then you came. But now I don't want you to be my mommy." Victoria's heart shattered. "I want you to be my daddy's happy. Because he makes you happy too. I see it. Everybody does." Lily pressed the drawing into Victoria's hands. "Please," Victoria taught. "Don't be lost anymore. Come home with us." Victoria looked at the drawing, the crooked stick figures, the hearts, the rainbow overhead. Such a simple thing. Such an enormous gift. "Your daddy might not want to see me," she whispered. "Then I'll make him." Lily grinned. "I'm very bossy. Just ask Mr. Buttons." At that moment, James burst through the office door, breathless. "Lily, you can't just..." He stopped when he saw them. His daughter in the CEO's lap. ... The drawing in Victoria's shaking hands. The tears on both their faces. "Daddy!" Lily jumped down and ran to him. Tell her she can come home with us. Tell her she's not a stranger anymore. Tell her." James looked at Victoria. Really looked at her. Not as his boss. Not as the Ice Queen. Just as a woman who had somehow, impossibly, become part of their story. "I was wrong," he said quietly. "I was scared. Scared that someone like you could want someone like me. But, Lily sees things adults are too blind to see. James, you saved my job. But that's not why I fell for you." He took a breath. "I fell for you because you let my daughter teach you how to hug. Because you waved at clouds. Because somewhere under all that ice there's someone who is just waiting to be found." Victoria stood, tears streaming freely now. "I haven't felt anything in 5 years. And then your daughter asked me if I was lost. And I couldn't lie to her. Because I was. I am." She stepped toward him. "But, for the first time, I don't want to be lost anymore." Lily watched, bouncing on her heels. "Okay, now you have to kiss. That's how it works in the movies." "Lily," James groaned. "But..." Victoria laughed. A real, full laugh that seemed to light up the entire room. Your daughter is very demanding. You have no idea." And then, with Lily cheering and Margaret pretending not to watch from the doorway, James kissed Victoria Sterling in the middle of her corner office on the 40th floor. Somewhere, Mr. Buttons approved. If there had been a camera, it would have pulled back slowly, through the glass walls of that corner office, past the startled executives, over the city that Victoria had once ruled from a distance. Far below, the world kept spinning. But in that room, 3 people had stopped time. A single father who learned to hope again. A woman who remembered how to feel. And between them, one little girl with pigtails and a plan, completely unaware that she had just performed a miracle. It started with a wrong turn in an airport restroom and ended with a family finding its missing piece. Because sometimes the biggest love stories are written by the smallest authors. And sometimes when you think you're lost, you're actually exactly where you need to be, waiting for someone brave enough to ask if you need a friend. If this story warmed your heart, even just a little, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button to support the Steadfast Heart Stories. Every like and follow helps us bring more meaningful tales like this one to life. Stories about ordinary kindness, quiet strength, and the steadfast heart stories who bring lonely hearts together. Because sometimes, the smallest hearts write the biggest love stories. Thank you for watching. Stay warm, stay kind. See you in the next story.